Zelda lingered in the bustling waiting room of Nairobi Airport, enveloped in a sea of travelers. At 59, she tapped her fingers nervously on her leather bag, sensing a disconnect among the youthful passengers surrounding her. This journey to Africa was meant to be a refuge for her, a strong attempt to break free from the solitude that had enveloped her since her husband's passing 2 years prior. Yet the solitude accompanied her, never truly departing. As she shifted restlessly in her seat, a young man stepped into the lounge, and his self-assurance drew Zelda's attention. He stood tall, his broad smile illuminating the entire space. He engaged effortlessly with the staff and fellow passengers. His charisma shone through in every action he took. He was known as Henry. "Pardon me, madam. May I assist you with your bag?" he inquired, his rich voice warm and inviting. Zelda took a brief moment to consider before giving a nod of agreement. He struggled with his large suitcase ever since departing from the hotel, yet his pride held him back from seeking assistance. He glanced at Henry and murmured, "Thank you." She tossed her sack effortlessly over her shoulder. "I wish to avoid exhausting anyone," Zelda murmured gently. Henry beamed with delight. "Sure thing," he replied. "It's a responsibility I embrace in my role as a guide." "Are you here for the adventure?" Zelda gave another nod. "Indeed. This marks my inaugural visit to Africa. I've always dreamed of going on tour, yet life's obstacles have held me back." Henry gazed at her for a moment and remarked, "You are here now. That's what truly matters." While waiting for his team to call, they struck up a casual conversation. Moses shared insights about his journey as a guide and expressed his aspiration to eventually launch his own tour company. Zelda was filled with elation and optimism. She appeared vibrant, confidently aware of her position in the world. "What led you to this place?" Zelda was asked by Moses, self-deposit, uncertainty flickering in her mind. How could she articulate the anguish of losing her husband? The interminable hours passed in a dwelling that felt utterly foreign. In place of words, she bestowed upon him a gentle smile. "I believe I was seeking an adventure." Henry acknowledged Zelda's hesitation to voice her thoughts with a knowing nod. "Africa brims with excitement and exploration. You will see," he said, as the announcement echoed through the terminal, signaling it was time for the groups to board the plane. Henry once more took the lead, assisting her with her bag. As they separated, he regarded her with a sardonic grin. "It's amusing how the universe connects individuals. Perhaps we could reconvene," he suggested. Zelda observed his departure, a peculiar flutter stirring within her heart. She shook her head, berating herself for her own foolishness. She was presented with endless opportunities, yet for the first time in years, she experienced a feeling akin to this. Something indistinct, an exhilarating experience, a flicker of optimism. The safari vehicle raced along the rugged path. This was an eternally expansive landscape. Zelda sat in the back seat, camera poised, captivated by the breathtaking expanse of the African landscape before her. Henry glanced at her through the rearview mirror, a smile spreading across his face. "Have your camera ready," he urged, his voice struggling to rise above the engine's roar. "This region is renowned for its majestic elephants." Zelda raised her hat and angled her lens toward the distant horizon. "This is incredible," she murmured. "I've never seen anything like it before." Henry chuckled. "This is the wonder of Africa. It uncovers unexpected surprises, just when you think you have it all figured out." Zip came to a halt, and Moses sprang up, extending his hand to assist Zelda. It was a gentle caress, yet Zelda sensed the heat of his skin and the reassurance in his power. Hand in hand, they strolled towards the cool refuge beneath which a majestic herd of elephants peacefully fed. As the afternoon stretched on, their discussions deepened and took on a more intimate tone. Zelda discovered she was revealing aspects of her life that she seldom discussed. She felt a thrill in sharing the joy of molding young minds, yet also experienced a profound emptiness that followed retirement. Moses absorbed the information with keen interest and acknowledged it with a nod of comprehension. Moses replied, "In my youth, I believed life was simple, yet upon hearing your words, I understood that this challenge mirrored my own experiences. Moses started to share his personal journey. Henry's eyes lost their luster. His gaze anchored to the distant horizon. At the age of 15, I experienced the profound loss of my father, which compelled me to enter the workforce early to help support my family. He revealed his vulnerability. Zelda hadn't anticipated such fragility, yet it deepened her respect for him. You've achieved quite a lot, Henry. Confronting the unforeseen challenges of life while maintaining composure is no simple feat. Their eyes locked, and in that singular instant, everything else faded away. They shared a connection that transcended age and culture. Only two individuals grasped the bond that exists between collective hardship and resilience. Moses dialed that number. The enchantment was shattered. He picked up the phone. Speaking in German, Zelda turned her attention to the elephants. Yet she couldn't dismiss the sense that something had shifted in their dynamic. As the group convened around the campfire, Zelda observed how effortlessly Henry connected with the rest of them. She laughed and joked, her charisma effortlessly captivating those around her. Yet, a gentle warmth lingered in her gaze as her eyes connected with those of the man by the fire. It appeared as though it was meant solely for him. As the chill of the night settled in, Henry offered her his coat. "You'll require this," he stated plainly. Zelda hesitated for a moment before she accepted, her fingers brushing against his. This simple act stirred something within Zelda, evoking a warmth she hadn't experienced in years. One night, while resting in his tent, Zelda gazed up at the hill, her heart brimmed with a sense of wonder above all else. She had arrived in pursuit of excitement. Yet within Moses' company, a profound feeling began to awaken within her, a yearning she struggled to express. Under the expansive canopy of stars, the camp lay in tranquil silence, while the nocturnal creatures orchestrated a gentle symphony. Moses walked over to Zelda, holding 2 glasses of wine and wearing a warm smile. Zelda glanced away from her diary, her face betraying no signs of joy. He set the tray down on the small table that separated them and remarked, "You might enjoy this." Zelda paused briefly, then accepted the glass from Moses and said, "This is quite lovely." Her voice was nearly consumed by a symphony of crickets. Moses reclined in his chair and remarked, "You appear especially silent today." He gazed at Zelda's face, captivated by the marks of experience and beauty that time had inscribed upon it. She confessed that her thoughts were heavy and numerous. "This journey has unfolded in ways I hadn't anticipated. Is it a different type of explosion or merely a different kind of issue?" he inquired, his tone airy yet his gaze probing. "Yes," Zelda replied promptly, taking a moment to gather her thoughts. At the university, Henry embraced a tranquil quietude, permitting the bond between them to grow stronger. The firelight danced, creating gentle shadows on their features, softening the stark truths of their environment. "May I pose a question to you?" Zelda finally shattered the stillness. "Feel free to ask anything," Henry responded instantly. "Have you ever experienced the sensation of existing within the shadow of another's existence? As if you wandered off and forgot who you were?" Moses pondered his question deeply. An overwhelming surge of feeling enveloped him. "I once experienced those feelings as well. Following my father's passing, I realized that my perspective on life was reducing the significance of my dreams. However, I came to an important realization. The life you desire doesn't simply arrive. It requires effort and dedication on your part." Zelda nodded slowly, her thoughts reverberating within her mind. "This clarity is something I admire. I have dedicated countless hours striving to meet the expectations placed upon me. Whether as a wife, a mother, or a teacher, I find myself questioning the essence of my being beyond these labels. With unwavering conviction, Moses declared that you are more than the roles you assume. Here you are, navigating